Hello, dear friends. I'm known as Brother Sean. I'm an enclosed lay Franciscan Catholic Christian monk who embraces all faiths. That is the whole purpose of the Teo community of St. Francis being in existence today as an online lay monastic community. Ordinary men and women who avoid dogma and who embrace all faiths. The topic of this short video is about religious abuse. And I find it quite a challenging, traumatic subject. But having watched a 1-hour documentary on the BBC channel last evening, I was profoundly disturbed by the whole sequence of events in a part of beautiful Ireland in Donegal, where there was so much corruption and an abuse of power, and where priests systematically abused and destroyed innocent lives. It also allowed you meet some of the victims of that atrocity, young men and young women, barely 11 or 12 years old, who are now in their late 40s, 50s, and they were sharing their pain, their story, which brought back a lot of painful memories for me of a similar age being taught by the Christian Brothers in Dublin, where I was singled out for physical abuse because of being born in Scotland and having great difficulty speaking Gaelic because I found it a difficult language. And every day I would be singled out by a brother Fahy, that was his name, and he would publicly humiliate me in front of the class of 60. But I forgive him. But the documentary showed you the corruption and the denial of truth, and it affected my heart. How can a man or woman of God give such lip service to God and seek out the innocent and destroy them? But what was so disturbing, the hierarchy within the church in Ireland and Rome knew of it. They were aware of it. And rather than face it head on and deal with it and offer support and counseling to the victims and the perpetrators, what they did was they took the priest out of the parish and sent him to another parish, hoping it would go away. How can intelligent men condone such evil? And sadly it has spiraled, because it's not just Catholic Ireland, it's wherever there's a presence of Christianity in the world, particularly within the Catholic Church. And as a Catholic Christian, all I can do is pray that the present Pope takes responsibility for what has happened in the name of God. Because there has been a cover-up, and it doesn't take an A level in science to work it out. But what is so disturbing, the land I grew up in, which was a religious place, yes, the church had a monopoly and ruled with fear and destroyed many lives, but it also helped many lives. There has to be a balance. And I know that within the church there are good men and women who are not pedophiles and who live a very beautiful, holy life. They've been tarred. by the wrongdoing and the evil of the hierarchy who have been aware and who chose to do nothing. But what was so alarming, the reporter for the BBC was himself a local Donegal man, and he met some of his schoolmates and friends totally unaware that they had been abused. And it showed you their mother, and you could see the tears and the anguish in her eyes, because she said that she entertained that priest who systematically abused her two sons, their friends, and she welcomed him in their home to say Holy Mass. And as a mother, she felt betrayed. She felt betrayed by a man of God whom she loved. She felt betrayed by her church that she continues to go to. She felt betrayed by the Holy Father in Rome for covering up and getting the priests out of Ireland into safe houses here in England. And that is true, because I know of one place where there are many priests in hiding in a convent, and that is immoral, and it is unlawful, and it is wrong. So I applaud the Irish Prime Minister for closing the nunciature in Dublin, where many priests were taken because of immunity from criminal proceedings. That is one positive step to empower my church, a church that I love. But sadly, like many Catholic Christians in Ireland and around the world, I'm confused. I'm confused because at present the current Primate of Ireland, who said several years ago that if he was responsible for systematic abuse and for doing nothing, he would resign as the Primate. And the facts spoke for themselves, and he was found out to be one of the team who investigated these young children. And you could see the arrogance, the denial. And my prayer today isn't a prayer of revenge. It's a prayer of drawing a line and asking for forgiveness, for the church being humble enough in charity, and asking for forgiveness of the victims and saying sorry. But that's never happened. So I pray today for healing and reconciliation within the whole Catholic Church and other religions, because I'm aware in Manchester in some of the mosques, the imams are abusing the children. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of what's happening around the world, where women within Islam are being systematically abused and beaten to a pulp by their so-called husbands. We must end this violence towards the children of God. We must expose in love, in charity, and root out this evil that has corroded the very family of God. I am not here to sit in judgment. I am here full of sorrow in my heart. And I am ashamed. As a Catholic Christian, I am utterly ashamed of how men and women could abuse their position of trust and destroy the innocence of a child. And what's more disturbing, that the hierarchy, who's aware of what's going on, is giving lip service. It's giving lip service. And I find that an abomination before God. But these men and women will have to meet their Maker. But my challenge today is to the present Pope. Come out of your ivory castle. Meet with the people that have kept you in the position you're in through their donations and their prayer. Meet with them. Meet with them and ask their forgiveness. And I ask this in the name of Jesus, the Barefoot Galilean.